today I have some very special guests with me. We've got Mary Fanto from UStudio Yoga.
I'm Mary.
And Angela.
This is my cousin.
Hi.
My student and my cousin, so we're trying to make it a family affair here today.
Family affair.
We're just going to do a half hour, just a little half hour power flow. Really simple, keeping it easy. There's no gymnastics, there's no pretzel, there's no circus tricks. So anyone out there, if you want to follow along, great. It's great for beginners. If you're an advanced practitioner, then you know how to make it more advanced for you. But for now, we're just going to keep it simple and sweet. So let's call it KISS. Keeping it simple and sweet.
Keeping it simple and sweet.
So just to start, let's start in child's pose. So just on your knees, and big toes are together and your knees are apart.
Let's take my socks on.
Yes. Bare feet are nice. So you just start in child's pose in the beginning of every class, and it just gives you a little way to kind of just quiet everything down. Because you come in to a yoga class, if you're coming in from work, or you're coming in from being out all day, or something horrible happened, or something great happened, and there's just so much going on in your head. So it's nice to kind of let all of that go, at least for however long you're doing your practice. And this just gives you a little sense to settle down, to focus in, and to just let that clutter just kind of leave. So this is where you start to really focus in on your breath. So from here, both of you just take a deep inhale through your nose and hold it at the top. And now just open your mouth inside out. And so again, deep inhale through your nose, hold it at the top, and let it go. And so third time, deep inhale through your nose, hold it, and release. And this time, take a deep inhale through your nose, seal your lips, and exhale through your nose. And so this is called your Ujjayi breath. So you're inhaling and exhaling through your nose. And you start in child's pose because this is where you start to rein that breath in, to really get in tune with that. Basically, it's nostril breathing. You're breathing in and out through your nose. And the more you concentrate on this breath, the harder it is to concentrate on anything else. So really, everything else we do here, it's just physical, it's just movements. And it's not about perfecting these movements because yoga is such a personal practice. It's really about just breathing. If you can maintain this breath just in and out through your nose through your whole yoga practice, you're probably going to have one of your better yoga practices, even if you just stay right here in child's pose. And so just keeping that breath, and it's an audible breathing, so it really, think of it as every inhale is a wave rising, every exhale is that wave crashing on the shore, or a lot of people, you'll hear almost every yoga teacher say it's that Darth Vader breathing. So it's audible, it's a wave that you ride on. And take another deep inhale right here through your nose. And then slowly on your exhale, just come up onto your hands and knees for your first tabletop pose. So you just make sure your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Your knees are hips distance apart, right underneath your hips. And from here, just let your chest fall to the mat and look up. So you're really tilting your tailbone up. You're letting your chest fall to the mat. Release your shoulders down your back. Take an inhale right here through your nose. And exhale, just round your back up and tuck your chin. So these are called cat-cows. Inhale, let your chest fall down, glance up. Exhale, round it up, just like that angry Halloween cat. Inhale, release your chest, glance up. This is your cow. Exhale, round your back up. So do a couple of these, just two on your own. So your inhale, glance up. Exhale, round up. So it's really nice to open your back, get your spine ready. And you just do a few of these. You can do a few of these first thing in the morning. And then from here, just come to a neutral flat back. So neutral flat back. And from here, we're going to start with a spinal balance. So your gaze is always going to be just right to the floor, right ahead of your mat. So you have a nice even spine. From here, just extend your right leg out behind you. And don't crank your hip up. So let that hip be really square towards the mat. Let your foot flex towards the back of the room. So your heel is pushing towards the back. From here, just reach your left arm out in front of you. So your thumb is going to face up, just as if you're shaking someone's hand, and really let your fingers extend nice and wide. So keep reaching your fingers towards the front. Lift up out of your right shoulder, don't sag into it. Reach your fingers towards the front, that biceps towards your ear, your gaze is down and focused, breathing in and out through your nose. Take another deep breath, lift everything you can lift. Exhale, release it all down. And then we switch sides. Send your left leg out behind you, right arm out in front of you. If you were in my class, you would hold this way longer than you would ever want to, but for now, we'll give these girls a little bit of a break. Lift up out of that shoulder, reach your fingers, extend your heel, push, release, inhale, let it go. And then just cat-cow it out. So just take a couple. And this is where you get that breath. And then take that cat one more time. And from here, just hold. Come down and hold right in your cow pose. So see how your tailbone is nice and lifted up. Your shoulders are released down your back. And let's come into the first downward facing dog. So right from here, just start tucking your toes and straightening your legs. Yep, perfect. Right into down dog. And so from here, it's nice to walk your dog a little bit. So bend your right leg and bend your left.
I like that. Walk the dog.
Walk the dog. Maybe even sway your hips a little bit from side to side, so that way you get a nice stretch in your right side and your left side. And let your head hang. So no tense necks. No wrinkles behind that neck. And then just find your still. So just find your dog. So in yoga, there's all kinds of Sanskrit names, and everything ends with an asana. So when you have, asana means to sit and be still. So if you can sit and be still in these poses and keep that breathing in and out through your nose, you're really maintaining a lot. And it's all coming from a place of calm. Everything comes from a place of calm. So just going through a little down dog checklist, make sure your hands are shoulder width apart and you're really pushing with your full hand into the mat. The more you push into the mat, the straighter you're going to get your arms and you're going to feel your chest reaching towards your thighs. And then just look back at your feet. Your feet are hips distance apart. So your heels are lost behind your toes. So if you can see your heels, just spin your heels out a little bit. And let your heels descend. Put a little lift in your knees. Push the backs of your legs towards the back of the room. And then from here, take a deep inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. One more inhale, and let it go. And then make sure your shoulders are lifting away from your ears and they're really reaching up your back towards your hips. And then taking another deep inhale. Exhale, just roll to an upper push-up plank pose. So again, it's about keeping a nice even spine. So your gaze is right to the wood or to the floor, right in front of your mat. Really engaging your belly button, lifting it up towards your spine. Really keep your knees engaged. Put a little lift in your knees. That's going to help keep your legs lifted. You can always put your knees down and do the same thing with your knees down. Always do the same thing. And then take another inhale. Lift up through your shoulders. And then slowly with your elbows brushing right against your side, lower all the way down. And then just release your toes. So now we're all here on the floor. And then from here, that first cobra. So just roll on up into your first cobra. Make sure those elbows are nice and glued to your ribcage. Shoulders, release them down. And then lower your chin and just touch. So we do these a couple times. So on your inhale, roll on up to cobra number 2. And then exhale, touch your chin back down. Inhale, roll up to cobra number 3. Exhale, touch down. Roll up for cobra number 4. Inhale, let those shoulders release. There you go. Exhale, touch down. And then number 5, just inhale, roll on up. And then exhale, touch back down. And then just slowly back up to plank, back to downward facing dog. Nice. So this is called a little mini vinyasa. So let's just run through that mini vinyasa. Inhale, upper push-up. Exhale, lower slow. Inhale, roll on up for cobra. Exhale, make your way back to downward facing dog. You got it. So when you do these a couple times, it really is a wonderful warm-up. You're hitting your arms, you're hitting your core, you're hitting your legs, you're hitting your shoulders. You're breathing in and out through your nose. Everything's coming from a calm place. So we're slowly breaking it down, getting ready for sun salutations. So from here, just take an inhale, look through your hands, and on an exhale, just walk up to the front of the mat. Perfect. So you can jump up, but for now, we're going to just walk up and keep everything nice and simple. So you're hanging in a forward fold. Your head is hanging. You're touching everything from the backs of your legs, from your ankles all the way up. Your head is released, no tense necks. And for those of you who can't get your fingers down, you just bend your legs. I mean, it's nice to have a micro bend in your legs anyway. If you lock your knees out, you're not even using your muscles. You're just locking your knees. When you have a micro bend, you're using your thighs, you're using your calves. So just come into that Ujjayi breathing. Inhale through your nose. Exhale. And then from here, bring your hands right to your shins and take an inhale for a half lift. Remember that gaze is still straight down. Shoulders release. And then release down on the exhale. So one more time. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, back down. You can also just come up on your fingertips. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. And this time on your inhale, open your arms wide and reach them up high to the sky. And then exhale, pull your hands to prayer at your heart. Nice. So this is Samastiki. Close your eyes. Just take an inhale. And let it go. So we're just going to start off with some sun salutations. Inhale, open wide, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, lengthen as you fold, using your core all the way down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, walk or jump back to upper push-up, and then lower slow all the way down. Inhale, roll on up to that cobra. Exhale, make your way to downward facing dog. Sun salutation number 1. Take an inhale. And then just let it go. So every time you come to downward facing dog, it starts to feel like a little mini vacation. You start rolling through all these sun salutations. Each one feels a little bit different from the next. And it's repetitive. But I promise you, by the time you get to the 5th one, you're just fully open and you're finding your grace and you're finding your dance. So take another deep inhale right here. And then on your exhale, look through your hands and slowly walk or jump to the front of the mat. Yep. Take an inhale, half lift. Exhale, back down. Inhale, open your arms up wide and reach them up high. Exhale, pull to prayer, right in your heart. Inhale, open and reach. Lift from your rib cage all the way up. Exhale, lengthen. Use your core. It protects your back as you fold. Inhale, half lift. Take that inhale. Exhale, walk or jump back to upper push-up. Lower slow, elbows brush right against your side. Inhale, roll on up for cobra. Just lift your heart, drop your shoulders back. Exhale, make your way to downward facing dog. And then here, take that inhale and release. One more inhale and an exhale. Bend your knees, look through your hands, walk or lightly jump to the front. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, back down. Inhale, open wide, reach it all the way up. And pull to prayer on the exhale. Inhale, open and reach. Exhale, lengthen and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, walk or jump back and just lower slow. And know that you can always jump back, put your knees down and lower slow with your knees. Inhale, roll on up. Exhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Wonderful, ladies.
Thank you.
And then just take that inhale and let it go. And then just bend your knees, look through your hands, walk or lightly jump to the front. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, back down. And just hang here. From here, bring your feet together so your ankles touch. And then while you're here bending over, just lift your left leg up. There you go. So try not to crank your hip open. Perfect. So try to have a nice square hip. Even though cranking your hip open, it feels nice and you get a little hip pop, but you want to have a nice, even, square hip. So you want to actually be able to see your toes. So again, you're really pushing your heel towards the back. Let your head drop. Yep. And then just take a couple breaths. So when you're looking at this, you're thinking, well, that looks fairly easy. And for some people it is. But you can make it more challenging. Put a nice micro bend in your right knee. And then remember those half lifts that we were doing. So walk your fingertips right underneath your shoulders and take that half lift. And then bring your arms down your sides like airplane wings. And then you're just balancing on one leg. There you go, airplane. So you're really engaging that left butt muscle, pushing that heel towards the back. Try to let your palms face down and just run your arms right along your sides. There you go. Take another inhale. I know it's hard. Exhale, just release your hands to the mat and drop your left leg to meet the right, forward fold. There we go. So your first time, it's a little crash and burn just like an airplane, but then you get used to it because everything is very repetitious. And then take just an inhale, take that half lift. And then exhale, drop it down. And then keeping that micro bend in that left knee, just lift your right leg up behind you. So really it's balance. Balance is nothing but focus and breath. It doesn't matter how big you are, how skinny you are, what you're wearing, anything like that. It's focus and it's breath. So drop your hip down, square it to the mat, perfect. Flex your foot, micro bend in that left leg. And then start bringing your arms up along your sides. So when you think of those cobras, what you're doing is putting a little cobra in your shoulders. There you go. Take an inhale. Exhale, release your hands. Drop your right foot to meet the left. And then that's done. Take an inhale, half lift. Exhale, release down. And then bring your feet together, your ankles touch. And then just bend your knees and drop your hips and come right into chair. Reach your arms out in front of you. Really release those shoulders. So basically you don't want to wear your shoulders as earrings. You really want to release them down your back. Invert your palms in. Find a focal point right in front of you. Soften your gaze. It's called a drishti. And then you inhale through your nose right here. Exhale up to standing. And then just bring your hands right back into prayer. Wonderful. From here, take an inhale and exhale right back into chair. So bring your arms in front of you, bend your knees, drop your hips. You're really sitting into your heels. You should be able to lift your toes. Take an inhale, maybe sink a little lower. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, walk or jump back to upper push-up and lower slow. Roll on up on your inhale. This is right back to that mini vinyasa. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take an inhale and release. And then from here, don't lift your right leg up. Just step your right foot right in between your hands like you would if you were coming right into a runner's lunge. And this is exactly what it looks like. Your right foot is in between your hands. Just heel toe your right foot over so it's right next to your right hand. And then your left foot, just turn your left foot, spin it flat so your heel, your whole sole is on the mat, right? But have a little angle in your toes. So let your toes face up to like 10 o'clock and your heel would be more at 5. So it's at a little bit of a diagonal. And this is really your foundation. So you're really pushing into the outer edge of that foot. And then your hips, Your hips are going to want to swing right out to the right. So pull them in and swing them to the left and bring everything right down the midline. And then take an inhale right here. Exhale, lift right up into Warrior One. Perfect. So you're really sinking into that thigh. Your hips are square as much as you can square your hips. So don't get all caught up in that. As much as you can. It's really about how it feels and not about how it looks. How's it feel?
Good.
And then inhale, just reach through your rib cage. Let those fingers reach up. Take an inhale. And exhale, release your hands to the mat. And then step your right foot back to meet your left to an upper push-up. And then lower slow. And then roll on up. Take an inhale. Back to downward facing dog. Take a deep exhale. Nice. And then left side. Step your left foot right in between your hands. Flatten that right foot behind you. So spin that right foot. This time your toes are at 2 and your heel is like at 7 or 8. And then lift right up on your inhale into Warrior One. Your hips are square. You hold her here for a minute. You let it cook. You drop your shoulders down. You sink as much as you can into that left thigh. Inhale, reach up and sink low. Exhale, hands down. Leg back. Lower slow. Roll on up and inhale. Downward facing dog is your exhale. And then just take an inhale and let it go. So then we did Surya Namaskar A, that was your basic sun salutation. This is called Surya Namaskar B, or Series B. So everyone has a different name for it. Basically, it means to bow in devotion towards the sun. So you can take that to whatever that means to you. A personal sun to yourself, the real sun to the sun. But it's just the second series of warm-ups that we like to do to get ready, to get your body ready, to get it moving, to get it warm. Take an inhale. Exhale, walk or jump to the front of the mat. Bring your feet together, ankles touch. Take an inhale, half lift. Exhale, back down. And then bend your knees, drop your hips right into that chair on an inhale. Exhale, up to standing. Pull your hands into prayer. Nice. Inhale, right back into chair. So bend your knees, drop your hips. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, walk or jump back to upper push-up. And this is where you take it on your own. So just lower slow through your vinyasa. It's your own time and your own pace back to downward facing dog. So when you're in a class, don't worry about what your neighbor's doing. Worry about what you're doing. Worry about how it feels, not how it looks. From here, just step your right foot in between your hands, and immediately that left foot spins flat. And then lift right up into Warrior One. Once you're there, take an inhale, sink low, reach high. Exhale, release it down. Hands down, leg back. And then go through your vinyasa, back to downward facing dog. Taking your time. From here, step your left foot in between your hands. That right foot's going to spin flat. So you set up. This is your foundation. Lift right up into Warrior One on the left side. Take an inhale as you reach. Exhale, release it down. Leg back. And then go through that vinyasa. Back to down dog. So taking your time. These are very personal movements. But they work. Do they work?
Yes. Yes.
It's a little bit of cardio. You're stretching, you're strengthening, you're sweating. I mean, what more can you ask for in a workout? You come from a calm place, take an inhale, and let it go. And then just bend your knees, look through your hands, walk or lightly jump to the front. Bring your feet together, your ankles touch. Take an inhale, half lift. Exhale, just hang in a forward fold. So if we were in a class, if you were in my class, you would do what we just did maybe 4 or 5 times. But since we're here, we're going to maybe just do it. I think we did it twice, and I think we're good to go. So you just hang here and you catch your breath. You have a micro bend in your knees. You're still breathing in and out through your nose, so check in with that. Check in with that Ujjayi breath. From here, just take an inhale, half lift. Exhale, back down. So let's revisit an earlier pose. So while you're here, just lift that left leg back up. So we're just revisiting. We're doing a little bit of balance. So you guys kind of both know what's coming up. So from here, let your arms just go right down your sides. Put that cobra in your shoulders. That's going to help lift your torso. Let your palms face down. Reach your fingers to the back. From here, we're just going to come into what's called a half moon. So let your right hand drop to the floor, or if we had a block, you would drop it to a block. And then really crank your hips open and get ready and lift that left arm up. So you find your balance and focus first. Yeah, dolls. So you basically want to try to get your left foot on the same plane as your hip. And really roll your chest open. Coming up onto your fingertips. Let these left fingers really spread nice and wide. Take another deep inhale. Lift and reach. Exhale, just drop your left hand to the mat. Square your hips off. Keep that left leg lifted for a moment and really let the buns simmer. Take an inhale, a little bit of a lift. Exhale, left foot meets the right, forward fold. And then while you're there, you can shake it out. You can shake your legs. Yep. And then take an inhale, half lift. Exhale, back down. So while we're here, let's just blow out the other side. So lift that right leg right up. Let's get it over with. Your hips are nice and square. Start engaging your back muscles. Put that cobra in your shoulders and let your arms come right down your sides. I know, it's hard. You're using muscles that you're not used to using. You got it, babe. And then right into half moon. So let your left hand, this time, let it drop to the mat. And really start to crank your hips open. So lift out of your bottom shoulder and really reach these right fingers up. Really flex that foot a ton. Push your heel towards the back of the room. Take an inhale. Lift everything. Exhale, drop your right hand down. Square your hips. Keep that right leg lifted. Cook the buns. Take an inhale. Lift it a little higher. Exhale, right foot meets the left. Forward fold. Ooh. Yeah. I know. That's called bum asana. Take an inhale, half lift. Exhale, release down. And then sun salutations wash everything away. So inhale, open your arms up and reach them up high. Exhale, pull in prayer. And then you just take this moment to just close your eyes, recoup. Just take an inhale and let it go. And then take an inhale, open your arms up wide, reach high. Exhale, lengthen and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, walk or jump back and take your vinyasa, or just go right to downward facing dog. So that's a choice. It's a personal practice. Take your time getting there. And then just step your right foot in between your hands. And again, spin your left foot flat to the mat. Swing your right hip towards the left so everything is right down the midline. Lift right back up into Warrior One. So we were just here. We're going to let it hang for a minute. Let your shoulders release. Let your pinkies invert in. Really push into the outer edge of that back foot. And then from here, just take an inhale and open right up into Warrior Two. So you're going to, yeah, they got it down. So you're going to open your torso up to the left. So you have a nice, this shoulders drop. Stress. Strong shoulders. And then you straighten up your torso a little bit. So it's less fencing. You're right up and down. And then you just hold it here. Again, you let it cook. Arms, that wingspan is nice and long. You're looking right down your middle finger. Take another inhale right here and flip that front palm. And then lift right right into reverse warrior. So feel that stretch right down that right side. But keep sinking into that right thigh. Take an inhale, really reach. Exhale, right back up into warrior two. Yep, nice. Take an inhale right here. And on your exhale, just straighten that right leg. So that should feel pretty good, getting off of that thigh. And then reach your fingers as much as you can out and let them drop right to the middle of your shin. So normally we would have blocks, which is a really nice thing to have. But just bring it right to the middle of your shin, right in the triangle. So your shoulders are stacked, and you're still lifting out of that right shoulder, and you're reaching these left fingers up. Really tuck your right hip under and open this left hip up. Turn your left rib cage out as much as you can, so you're finding length and space. And you're reaching and you're stretching, especially your inner thigh. Pushing into that back foot and take your right big toe and push your right big toe as much as you can into the mat. And then take another inhale. And then on your exhale, just turn your palm to the front of the room and reach your fingers. Normally I would say towards the windows, but I'm forgetting that we're not in the studio. Keep rolling open. Try not to rest your bicep on your face. Take another inhale. Exhale, just lift, just right back into triangle, right back into the previous pose. Take one more inhale right here. Exhale, lift right back up into warrior two. When you lift up, you bend that right knee. Don't let your knee come past your toes. Take an inhale right here. Exhale, just cartwheel your hands to the mat, back to that runner's lunge. Take your right foot back to meet your left, up or push up, and then vinyasa or not. So you're either going to lower slow and roll through your vinyasa, or you're just going to lift your hips and go right back to downward facing dog. So sadly, what you do on the right side, you have to do on the left. So just step your left foot right in between your hands. Spin that back foot flat, lift right up into warrior one. But since you've done it on one side, when you get to your left side, you kind of get it. Your shoulders release, Dulcinea. Take an inhale. And then exhale, open to warrior two. Nice. So tuck your tailbone in a little bit. So when you tuck it in, that has a nice even spine. And it's not so much of a sway back. Shoulders drop. Take an inhale, flip your palm. Exhale, lift right up into reverse warrior. So remember, it's a side bend. It's not a back bend. So you're just reaching up and a little bit towards the back. Don't put all your weight into your right hand. That right hand is hovering over that leg. Take an inhale, reach. Exhale, right back to warrior two. Take an inhale right here. Exhale, straighten that left leg. Bring your stance. And then from here, just reach on your inhale, and then like a waterfall, let it drop right into the middle of your shin. Really tuck that left hip under, open that right hip, stack your shoulders, spread these right fingers wide. Even the webbing in your fingers should get a little stretch. Take an inhale. Exhale, take the extension. Reach your fingers towards the front of the room. Keep opening that right rib cage up. Your gaze is always even with your spine, so just look straight out, or you can look down. I say don't look up because I think it's going to tweak your neck. It's a personal thing. Some people disagree, some don't. Take an inhale right here. Exhale, just bring your right arm back up. Keep straightening that leg. And then take an inhale. Exhale, right into warrior two. So just lift that torso up and sink right back into that thigh. Take an inhale. Exhale. Cartwheel your hands to the mat. Send your left leg back in vinyasa or not to downward facing dog. Beautiful. And then just take a deep inhale and let it go. And then from here, just drop to your knees. And then cross your ankles behind you. And then sit your tush back and bring your legs right in front of you. There you go. So now the standing stuff is done. Your legs are out in front of you. Bring your feet together so your ankles touch, and really bring your toes towards your nose. And then sit up nice and straight. Drop your shoulders down. Lift your arms up to the ceiling. Take an inhale and lengthen and fold. So don't worry if you can't touch your toes. So this isn't about touching your toes. This is about just getting a nice stretch. So if you have to touch, hold on to your ankles, to your calves. If you have a strap or you have a towel handy, you can take a towel and put it over right around your feet. But bring more your chest to your thigh. It's not about your forehead to your knees. So it's more about a lengthen and a fold. Let your shoulders. Dulcie has tense shoulders. Take another inhale here.
Maybe I need a massage.
I know that was the cue. And then exhale, just come on up. And then just bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees open up. This is called butterfly, or cobbler, or Baddha Konasana. So really hold on to your feet. And sometimes it's nice to open them up a little bit like a book. Hold on to your toes and let your elbows drop into your knees. And then again, bring your chest lifted up. So drop your shoulders back, your chest lifts up. Take an inhale. And then fold forward like you're going to bring your nose past your toes. So again, lengthen as you fold. Lengthen shoulders. I'm going to call Dulcie shoulders from now on. Shoulders. Dulcie shoulders. So when you forward fold, your knees, your elbows are into your knees, are opening up your knees a little bit. You're getting that inner thigh stretch. You're taking a nice deep inhale. Exhale, just come on up and bring your knees. Close your knees like a book. And then if you're not, scooch in the middle of your mat. So just lift up your tush and scooch it right into the middle of your mat. So bring your feet about hips distance apart. And let your feet, like you have Velcro, really sink into the mat. Bring your arms out in front of you, palms face each other. So it's just a little bit of a core workout. So from here, just lower nice and slow, but not all the way. Let your shoulders hover. And then stop right there, and then bring it right back up, just like you're serving a platter. And then take it all, not all the way back, just halfway. Just let your lower back touch, and then bring it back up. Keep those feet Velcroed into the mat. Lower down, and then lift back up. So one more time and then we'll be done. Lower down. And then lift back up. Feet into the mat. And then just take an inhale right here. Exhale, lower all the way down. Let your head release onto the mat. And then just hug your knees into your chest. So clearly if we were in a class, that would go on a little bit longer than that. Angela knows.
I know.
That means you have to come to a class. And then just roll around a little bit on your spine. Just rock back and forth. And then let your feet, let them go back to the mat. Bring your feet, so bend your knees and let your feet be about hips distance apart. And then let your arms go right down your side. So we're just going to do a little bit of a back bend. It's called bridge. So really push your heels. Bring your feet are too far apart. Hips distance, yeah. So push into your heels and lift your hips up. And then let your shoulders tuck underneath you and clasp your hands. So push your hands from your biceps to your forearms to your hands all the way into the mat. And push your heels into the mat and lift your hips up. So from here, give yourself license to take Buddha breaths. So when you inhale, Buddha your belly out a ton. And then exhale, just bring your tummy back in. So it's the one time you're going to give yourself license to do it. So inhale, Buddha, see that belly expand. Exhale, bring it in. One more. Inhale, Buddha. Exhale, release your hands, drop your hips. So now if you wanted to do a wheel, if you more advanced yogis are out there and you know what Urdhva Dhanurasana is and you want to do a wheel, this is your time to do it. But for now, we're keeping it simple and sweet, right? Now we're just going to do one more. So just one more bridge right here. Take that inhale and then lift up on your exhale. Then you come right back in. Tuck your shoulders, clasp your hands, push into your heels, lift your hips, Buddha that belly out as you inhale. Exhale, bring it in. Another Buddha it out. Exhale, bring it in. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, release. Release your hands, let your hips. And then from here, just bring your left hand to your heart and your right hand to your belly. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees hang open. So this is called Supta Baddha Konasana. So just as we did in the beginning of class, just take that deep inhale through your nose and hold it at the top. And then pucker your lips and exhale. And again, just take that deep inhale through your nose, hold it at the top, and then pucker your lips. And last one, deep inhale through your nose, and then pucker your lips. And then from here, just take a couple moments and you just close your eyes and you really start to come back to your natural breathing pattern. So I'm going to imagine that you pretty much lost your breath along the way, which is fine. So from here, this is called Supta Baddha Konasana. It's just a really lovely way to calm yourself down. So if you have anxiety, if you have insomnia, this is a really lovely place to come to. You can feel the beat of your heart, the rise and fall of your breath, and just your feet being together is a really nice soothing factor. Normally in the class, I would let them stay here for a couple minutes, but not today. So just take one more inhale. And then on your exhale, just bring your knees together. And then come into what's called Happy Baby. So this is maybe not the loveliest pose for webisode, but we do it in every class. So just grab the outer edges of your feet and bring the soles of your feet towards the ceiling. This is such a great stretch. Bring your elbows to the insides of your knees and let your knees open up, if you can, wider than your torso. So really think of your lower back and let your lower back push as much as it can into the mat. That just gives you a nice even spine. From here, just lift your head up a little bit and tuck your chin in, and then lower your head back to the mat. So when you do that, you should have a nice even spine right from your brainstem all the way down. And then the more you pull on your feet, the more of a stretch you're going to get. And you can rock side to side like a happy baby, or you can stay stationary like a dead bug. It's all up to you. Angela's dead. We have dead bug, we have happy baby. Yeah. And then one more inhale. And then exhale. Just hook your big toes and straddle your legs open. So if your arms are feeling kind of short, you just bring your hands right into your inner thigh, but really push your heels toward the outer edges. So you're really getting an inner thigh stretch. Take one more inhale. Exhale, bring your feet together. And then just hug your knees back into the mat. And we're just going to end with a little spinal twist. So bring your knees together and let both your knees fall off to the right. Bring your arms out like a T and send your gaze off to the left. So it's just a really nice little spinal twist. And then from here, on your inhale, bring your knees back to center. Exhale, drop your knees to the left and send your gaze to the right. So when you do these twists, it really touches every vertebrae. And it's a nice thing to do in the morning when you just wake up or before you go to bed. And it's just giving your back some TLC. And then bring your knees back to center and give yourself one last squeeze. So hug your knees in. And we do this at the end of every class in case you maybe missed a spot on your body. Just bring your forehead to your knees and come to the tightest ball and take an inhale and squeeze everything. And then exhale, release. Release your knees, let your legs go straight. Let your arms hang at the sides. Release everything in your body. Any tension that's around your eyes, around your lips, in your jaw. Let your palms face up and let your fingers curl in. Let your feet hang open. And this is the best pose of all in yoga. It's called Savasana, or corpse pose. It's just final relaxation. And this isn't isn't a time to go back to your checklist. It's a time to still kind of check out. And when thoughts come to your head, you just send them away. You acknowledge and send them away. And at the end of every class, you do this for at least 5 minutes. I mean, this all started. This was just a wonderful way to get into meditation. And then class is done. Wonderful, ladies.
Yeah, thanks, Mary.
Wonderful, ladies. Short and sweet, a little, what was it, I think 40 minutes.
Yeah. So now, Mary, why don't you join me in our chat room?
Okay.
And we'll talk some more about the benefits of yoga.
Wonderful.
And Mary's awesome classes. So, let's see. So, why don't you just start telling us a little bit about yourself and where you do your classes, how you started yoga. Give it to me.
All right, give it to you. So, Mary Fanto. I am originally from Pittsburgh, but I live here in LA. And I started doing yoga, I can't even, 15 years ago.
That's a long time.
When I was 12. And, but I can't even believe it. It was 15 years ago. And someone told me I should go. I have arthritis, all kinds of stuff. And I thought, yoga, I'm going to go to yoga and meditate. I didn't really, at the time, when you're young, you kind of, yoga has this, I'm going to meditate and I'm going to chant and I'm going to do this stuff. And I came from this background of spinning and aerobics and stepping and all this kind of stuff. So I'd give it a shot. So I went to Brian Kest, who started Power Yoga, and he has a donation-based studio in Santa Monica, and I went there. And, I walked into this class, and I thought, I'll ace this. This thing will be simple. And it was a 2-hour-long class. So back then, if any of you know Brian, he would teach for like 4 hours.
4 hours.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I did this first class, and literally the next day I couldn't walk. The next day I was drying my hair like this. I couldn't even lift my arms up over my head. I was just drying my arms like this. I could barely sit down to go to the bathroom. And I thought, this is good.
It's a good workout.
It's a good workout, but it's not just, it's clearly a workout. You're moving.
Yeah, I can feel it in my arms even now. Mm-hmm.
Unless you're doing that, when you look at it, you think that's really simple, I can do it. But when you do it 5 or 6 times, it's a workout. It's physical.
When we were holding that half moon thing. Oof.
Yeah, right? In your booty, in your thighs, in your booty, in your core, and everything comes from the core. And I don't even know if I stressed there, which I don't even know if I did or not. But you really hold everything in your core. So when you do that and you're sending your stomach in, you're just tightening everything up. But it's not just a workout factor. It's a mind factor, because you're really marrying your mind and your body with your breathing. So yoga, it means to yoke. So it's a union.
I didn't know that.
Yoga means to yoke.
Oh.
So whenever it says, let's go get our yoking on, so it's a union of your mind and of your body. But when you're in a big class, it's a union with everyone in that class. So you're kind of riding on everyone's breath. So you really start to find, your grace in your movements, and everything that's up here that you came into class with kind of just leaves. So it's really nice, and it's a non-compete zone. I can't stress that enough. The last thing you should do is look at the person next to you as they're elevating off of a mat and be like, I can't do that.
Well, I was just concentrating on your voice, because you're really good at just keeping you coaching along and correcting the little things, and just the way that you talk. You've got a very... I
have my yoga voice.
Yes, yeah. and it just sounds nice, and even the words coming out of your mouth, they sound nice, like the Savasana.
Yeah, exactly. And you forget about the clutter that was going on in your head. What I have to do, I have to go to the market, I have to go to work, I have to call this person. And it's just endless chatter. It's the endless chatter. And that's what really hooked me in more than anything else, was that chatter just left. And that's such a bonus.
The ability to tune out.
Yeah, the ability to tune out is a bonus. But I started meditating, and you become so mindful of everyone around you, mindful of how you treat people. And if you think about it, when you're on the mat and you're struggling and you're making these faces and I mean, why? There's no drama. You just breathe, and if you fall, you fall. I hope you fall. You find out about yourself on the mat. And if you can take that calmness that you get on the mat, especially when you're done with class, and take it off the mat, everyone around you benefits.
Should have mandatory yoga classes.
I think they should too.
You must take one.
You must take yoga.
Yeah.
So I invite any of you guys to come to class.
Tell us more about where you teach, and you're at UStudio Yoga.
I'm in a studio called UStudio Yoga. It's on Wilshire, kind of Wilshire and La Brea. It's on the 5th floor of a lovely building, and it's nice. It's a nice little haven. We've been there.
Yeah.
It's small, but it's friendly. We're nice.
And so, how often do you teach the classes? Like I mean, I know that you were like in class today. You're mostly focusing on us. Do you do yoga classes yourself? You take other people's classes?
Oh yeah. I try to go at least 4 times a week. At least. I mean, if I can, I would go every day. I can't, but I think everyone when they start out should go at least twice. Even if it's a Monday and Friday or a Tuesday and Thursday. I mean, just the more you go, the more you become familiar with what your body can do, with what these different asanas, these different poses are. But myself, I go between Santa Monica Power Yoga and UStudio Yoga. I pick one and I go, 4 times a week. I teach 3 times a week, sometimes 4. But I think it's a nice starting point.
Yeah. Do you teach mostly in the mornings or the evenings, or are you around, or do you do private calls?
I do privates whenever people want. I teach in the evenings during the week, and I teach in the mornings on Saturday mornings. So Monday and Thursday I teach at 7 p.m. Saturday I teach at 10:30 a.m. And the weekday classes, what's nice about the U is those weekday evening classes, they're $10.
Like community kind of class?
Mm-hmm. Oh. And community doesn't mean for beginners. I mean, it's a pretty vigorous, strong flow class.
Sounds like a nice way to end the day.
It is a nice way.
You finish work and then you go and you get in your little happy place, and then
and then you go home and you're all nice and calm and you have sweet dreams.
Yeah, go have a little soup and soup and bath and nap. And
it's nice. It's like a party. We have a party every night.
Woo! Well, so I've got, why don't you can say the website info, but it's also up on the featured trainer page.
Yeah, UStudioYoga.com. I'm Mary Fanto, and there's myself, Andrea Markham, who owns the studio, is phenomenal. Hi, Andrea, if you're watching. And everyone else who teaches there, they're great. I mean, it's a little safe haven.
Yeah, it's got a nice little view of Wilshire Boulevard.
And the hills. You can see the Hollywood sign from class.
Yeah, it's a nice little getaway in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Well, Mary, thank you so much. I really enjoyed that. And you'll be able to check out all the information about Mary. She'll be up on our list of feature trainers. You can come back and watch and do this workout with her.
If you have any questions, Dulcie will send them to me and I'll answer them.
Yep, you can or just click on that UStudio. There's a link to UStudio on the website, okay. And then you can go and contact Mary.
Exactly, through there.
Yep. Alright, so you guys, I'll be back on Monday for Brazil butt lift.
Maybe I'll come too.
Woo! and then next month our featured trainer is Gil Bronco, 3-time powerlifting champion.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'll be fun for you.
Yeah. Maybe he's going to bench press me.
Nice. Bye guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, nice. You had 30 people.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you turn it off?
Yeah, I just turned it off.
Are we rolling?
No, we're done.
Are we rolling?